Okay, we're middle of Siman Shin Ches up to Sif Daled. So now we did the Muktzah Machmat Chsarakis. We did a Klisha Malachta L'Isser. Sif Daled speaks about a Klisha Malachta L'Heter. Says the Mechaber, Kli Shemalachta L'Heter Mutal Taltaloi Afilu Eina Edel L'Tzorech HaKli Shlo Yishaver Oy Yignoiv Ava Shlo L'Tzorech Klal Osir L'Taltaloi. So Klisha Malachta L'Heter, there's nothing wrong with it. You're allowed to use it for whatever you want. It's all heter. So that Kli, in the Gemara we find, which we'll see it's in the game more to the end of the Sif, that when they made an Issa Muktzah, they said you're not allowed to move anything. In the beginning it was a very strong Zera, you're not allowed to move anything. Even if Klisha Malachta L'Heter, you weren't allowed to move. They started lifting away the Gzeris. As the time went on, the sort of people were listening to them, so they started lifting away the Gzeris. But anything that was in the Gzeira of Tiltal, originally, and they lifted it away, only what they lifted are you allowed to do. Klisha Malachta L'Isser, they said, Tzarechufim Mikayim, you're allowed to do. Klisha Malachta L'Heter, they said you're allowed to do it. Tzarechufim Mikayim, and L'Tzorech Mekam L'Tzeil, meaning for the Kli itself. Yeah. But still, there's an Issa Muktzah, even in the Klisha Malachta L'Heter. They didn't take it away. What's in the Geya too? That's what the Mechaber says. Shlo L'Tzorech Klal Osel Taltaloi. There were certain things that never went into the Gzeira. We'll see soon. Kisvei HaKodesh, food. Certain things never went into this Gzeira. Those things that never went into this Gzeira of Muktzah, those things you're allowed to move even for no reason, because they never had an Isser Muktzah on them. And there'll be an afterminutes. We'll see soon. Masha'en Ken Klisha Malachta L'Heter, which was in the original Gzeira. The halacha is you're allowed to move it, even the muktzah itself, not the muktzah itself, the kli itself, but not shaloi l'tzorech klal. If you're moving it for no reason, you're not allowed to move it. Now, what is shaloi l'tzorech klal? How do you move something for no reason? Obviously, if you're moving it, you have a reason why you're moving it. So the famous shaila is if someone is fidgeting with something. I have now a new thing that came out.
The fidget, yeah.
I found out about it on Friday. I asked me to buy some. It's called a
fidget spinners.
Fidget spinners, fidget cube, fidget spinners. That's a Klisha Malachta L'Heter. I don't know if you're not using it on Shabbos because it's like unless you're doing it to calm your nerves.
That's
not a tzorech for klal.
What is this?
It's a fridge. It's a tunnel. It's a ball bearing that you use.
It's excellent. It reduces the medication. It's a big tzorech.
For autism.
So the point I speak about, if someone is moving something,
medically proven.
Yeah, it takes time. You have to make a study.
It was created for autism.
Yeah?
There is a research that it was created for autism and not for ADHD and ADD, but they all started, and it's good marketing. They sell lovely.
Okay, so if someone's moving something, fidgeting with something, because he's nervous and it's calming him down, the poskim say that that's called a tzorech. You're playing with it for a reason.
Yeah, it's a goofa.
It's a goofa. It's all goof, yeah. It's called a tzorech. But a lot of times people play with something, so they're just playing with it, not because they're nervous or because they have, it's what Rabbi Echedi used to call lady gehend. Lady gehend means you have nothing to do with your hands, so you're just touching something.
It's
a condom. That's not called the tzorech. That's not called the tzorech. That's not called the calm your nerves. It's a very common thing you see in our Shabbos table. Someone's playing with a fork, a knife, just playing with it for no reason. That's called shaloi l'tzorech klal. We'll see later on if knives and forks are also shaloi l'tzorech klal. But if you say they're also shaloi l'tzorech klal, so if someone's sitting by a table and just playing with something for no reason, that's called shaloi l'tzorech klal, and there'll be an isser to move it on Shabbos, even though it's a Klisha Malachta L'Heter. The Ripaskin of shaloi l'tzorech klal also l'taltaloi.
So if you have a bottle cap, and you're just playing with it, but you will eventually put it off the bottle. During the tournament,
no, during the it's shaloi l'tzorech klal. Shaloi l'tzorech klal.
So you can have something that starts off as a Klisha Malachta L'Heter,
right?
And given at a different time, that same item becomes shaloi l'tzorech klal.
No, it doesn't start off.
Through the course of Shabbos.
It's always.
Oh yeah, we're finished.
It's always. It stays a Klisha Malachta L'Heter the whole Shabbos.
Oh, so that's what I'm asking. Is there a situation where,
No,
let's say you need it for, like, the Rebbe just gave an example of a knife.
yeah.
During the Suda, you need it. It's his Klushim Lach
Yeah,
Lahed.
you're allowed to use it. And that's to say, you're allowed to take a Mechama L'Tzel if you want, if you see something get ruined. But if you're moving it for no reason, it's still a Klish of Mechal Heter. But there's still no Heter to move a Klish of Mechal Heter without any tzarech.
There's no reason.
Without any reason.
Yeah.
It stays a Klish of Mechal Heter. It doesn't change its status.
No, but there's,
You can't move
At
it.
some point, it's
No such
also,
thing
it's
as
also
no
a reason.
No, it's always also a mutter for the same reason.
Mechal Heter is
It's always mutter if you're doing it for something. It's always also if you're moving it for no reason. Doesn't
just for
change.
playing it.
More in your
It does.
intention, not an actual.
Yeah, it depends on the same thing with the Klish of Machal Isser, right? This will become Asur or Mutter. The Mechama L'Tzel is Asur, and Tzarech Kupa become is Mutter. It depends on what you're moving it for. So Klish of Machal Heter Shaloi L'Tzarech Klal is Asur to move.
Doesn't matter if it's leheter or leisur. You cannot move anything
You're not
for
moving.
nothing,
Shoes.
That's it, sorry.
for no reason.
No, you got.
Yeah, I don't know how you take that.
That's what I mean.
What?
We're talking about, let's say you go to a shoe closet to take out shoes, and you're getting your shoes, but you're moving out the shoes at the same time.
No, that's okay. That's Tzarech Mechama for sure. Even Machal Isser you'll have to be moved. Because you're doing a Tzarech Mechama, because you have to get that thing behind it.
Right.
So it's in your way. That's Tzarech Mechama.
Right.
This issue in Muktzah is something that people generally
Don't relate to.
know about or-
Right.
Well, that's why I gave that dumb. They have to know that muktzah started off. People think that muktzah is only something you don't use, and then it becomes muktzah. Muktzah started off. It's Kedai Sidi Gemara over there in Shabbos. Muktzah started off. They asked everything. You're not allowed to move anything on Shabbos, even Klish Machal Heter. Certain things didn't go into the Gzeira. For example, the Kisvei Kodesh, food, the things you need to eat, never went into the Gzeira because people had to live. So that never went into the Gzeira of Muktzah. That we'll see soon. Is a heter, you can do whatever you want with it. Everything else that went into the Gzeira of Muktzah, and they lifted it, slowly but surely, stayed in the Gzeira of Muktzah. Even a Klish Malach Heter stayed in the Gzeira of Muktzah. In which case, Shloi L'Tzarech Klal. So you have to remember. If you look at the Gemara over there in Shabbos, you'll see it's very clear. Says the Ramah, says the Mechama Vayta, V'kisvi HaKodesh, V'oichlin, Mutter L'Taltal Nafil Shloi Tzarech Klal. Why? Why are you allowed to move that Shloi Tzarech Klal? Because that thing never went into the Gzeira. Kisvi HaKodesh was form you had to learn from. When they asked the Muktzah in the beginning, they did not ask the Kisvi HaKodesh. They did not ask the food. So therefore, it was Mutter L'Taltal, even Shloi Tzarech Klal. There's never this a Muktzah on them.
It's hard to imagine moving Kisvei HaKodesh Shalom Tzarech.
Yeah, because usually you keep, Nachami. Yeah.
Why? You
Yeah.
have svarim in your talis bottle that you have no use for. You're just taking them for no purpose at all. You're taking your talis home. Your sitter's inside there. You're not going to use it. You have no reason.
Well, see, soon, yeah. There are cases of Shloi Tzarech Klal.
Zero reason. You have no reason. It's just there.
Pamphlets, but we have come from previous Shabbos Laws.
It says the Morgen of Ram Shamalachta Leheter, Vordig Shamalachta, the Issa Villa Heter. We saw last week the Bialacha, the Shamalachta the Issa Villa Heter, when it becomes Klish Shamalach Leheter, V'Zorev Tashmisha or not. That was the Bialacha last week. The Kisvei HaKodesh says the Morgen of
How did you
Ram.
come out with that? I mean, it seems like from the Prima Godim it comes out that if it's Raif, even if there's 51%, it's going to be Le'isser.
Right.
Then the Mishnah Berurah,
The Bialacha is supposed to say that.
said I'm not sure. I don't.
Right, you're not sure, even though it's
Sorry.
Zorev Tashmisha, but if it's
Right.
used for both,
Right,
maybe it can be Mekel.
right.
It says Sarachin.
But here, you,
Issa Villa Heter, the Morgen of Ram, because what it means.
and the Mishnah Berurah. Oh, you're going to get to it. We'll read it, and he seems to be.
Mr. Robert here speaks about it, or
Mr.
last
seems to
week?
be noted that
No, but he seems to contradict.
yeah.
First, he goes like the Mogen of
Okay, we'll see in a second. We'll see inside in a second. The Issa Villa Heter is mutter to move it. The next one, Kisvei Kodesh Pirish Svarim, Shemutter Likreis Behem, the Loika Ash, Ayin Simmer Shalom Adal Sifir Gimel. He means Svarim that you're allowed to read in them. There was at the Kufas of the Gemara, there was a time they asked her to read certain Kisvei HaKodesh. For example, Ksuvim. You weren't allowed to read on Shabbos. People didn't go to the drasha. So they asked to read Ksuvim. That's why the Haftarahs are all Nevi'im. You won't find the Haftarah from Ksuvim. Because at that time they asked to read Ksuvim. So it means over here, Kisvei HaKodesh means the one that you're allowed to use on Shabbos. The ones that you weren't allowed to use on Shabbos anyway were also a Muktzah. We spoke already, an empty piece of paper, have a Muktzah, a near lead, have a Muktzah Machn Chesar and Kiss. They keep in the Ayman the Ksiva, Chopet Alayu, Ayamash Kasafni Simishin Zayin Sif Yudalid, which we spoke about already, a black piece of paper. Today the Char is not Chesar and Kiss because you're not makbid not to use it for anything else. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah over here. Mishnah speaks out. Sif Cotton Chaf, Shamlach Leheter. V'hu adinim hayom lachta l'isser v'leheter gam kein l'maktzah daitem yinei use it. V'kdei shamlachta hu l'bishul v'ach l'pa'omim v'shtamshu by the mayim or the peiris he b'chlak kli shamlachta l'isser im loy sheyesh b'tafshil. Okay, so he's not he says v'lachta l'isser v'leheter or kdeira, which is meant for bishul.
But in the first part he says that it's going to go leheter.
No, but maybe it's equal. Equally.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's called a Kli Shamlach Leheter.
Right.
Right.
But a Kedera, which is Roiv Tashmishai for Isser,
Correct.
it's called a Mlachta L'Isser.
Right. So here he seems to be going like the Pri Megadim.
Because it says Tzarech Ian, the Bi'alacha. So in the Mishnah Berurah, he's not going to paskin. In the Mishnah Berurah, in the Bi'alacha, he
So
says.
you're saying in the first part, you're saying that it's the majority. You're reading the first part.
No, not majority, equal.
50-50.
Equal usage.
50-50.
50-50.
And the next part is right.
So in 50-50.
Everyone agrees it's Mlachta L'Heter. 50-50, everyone agrees it's Mlachta L'Heter.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so 50-50.
Everyone
51%.
So that's the question, how you use
Now you
that.
gotta-
So-
I don't think.
So the Pri Megadim is 51% is Isser.
Right, and
Right?
the Bi'alacha.
And here he says that the pot, which is at least
50
more than 50%
Right, it's also
Isser,
Isser.
is going to go Isser.
It's always right.
And that's why you need the Rosh Graf to put the
Right,
heter.
right. But and the Bi'alacha has a suffix, and maybe even though it's 51 and 55 Isser, it's still called Mlachta L'Heter. That's the Bi'alacha
But he
Tzarechim.
leaves it by Torah.
It is by Tzarechim, yeah. So then in Sifkan Chafal, there's Shlo Yitzarech Klal, Hainu Kala Yoyim Lo Yitztachenu Klal. Aval Yistach Le Bo Yisay Yom V'Matatla K'dei Sheyeh Muchal Le B'Shaitloi. Shari, that's the Taz over here. That if you're moving something now, you don't need it right now, but you'll need it later on during the day. It's also called a tzarech. Also called a tzarech.
So that
As long as it's in the Shabbos.
Yeah, as long as it's on Shabbos.
So that bottle cap which you're moving or
Yeah, but when you're moving it now, you're not moving it because you need it later on. He's talking about.
You mean you have
Right.
a real.
He's talking now. You're
Torah
carrying it
to
around
use
with you because at
now.
one time you're going to use it.
Right.
He brings his rye from a knife.
Not a need.
Someone carries around the knife with him,
Right.
right? He doesn't need it now, but at some point during the day, he doesn't know when he's going to need it. He's carrying it around for when he needs it. It's not called Shlo Yitzarech Klal. So you're carrying around the bottle cap because you know you're going to need to put it on the bottle at some point. That'll be mutter. Same thing with keys. You're carrying around the key on you. You don't need it now, but at some time during the day, you're going to need that key.
When you leave for Mincha, you'll need.
Then you're allowed to carry it. Then you're allowed to carry it. But if you know you're not going to use that key b'chal on Shabbos, you don't need it, then you have to take it out of your pocket. Shlo Yitzarech Klal. That's no question if you have keys on the ring that you're not going to use over Shabbos. Forget about muktzah keys. Forget about the car keys. If you have a ring of keys, one key is the house key, and the other key is an office key, I don't know, is a key you're not going to use over Shabbos, if you're allowed to keep it on the ring on Shabbos. Because it's a Kli Shamlach L'Heter. But Shlo Yitzarech Klal. Shlo Yitzarech Klal. It's another example of Shlo Yitzarech Klal. Hey, I'm a chlekes in the Paiskim. Some Paiskim hold that if it's usually on the ring, and it's kept on the ring, it's not called Shlo Yitzarech Klal. You take it off the ring, you're going to lose it. It's not called Shlo Yitzarech Klal. Even though you're never going to use that key all Shabbos. And some Paiskim hold, no, you got to take off the keys you're not going to use, because it's called a Kli Shamlach L'Heter, Shlo Yitzarech Klal. You look and see if Chabeis Kisvei HaKodesh. Pirish Kol HaSvarim Shamut L'Likros Pen. Ayim Shai Yeshuva. Le'inyan Megillah. If you're allowed to move a Megillah on Shabbos. Or Pri Megadim Mitzadet Kal Yoravo. The Megillah Name Mechlal Zeh. The question is, you're allowed to move a Megillah on Shabbat. It's Kisvei HaKodesh. If you're allowed to move, Shlo Yitzorich B'chlal. It's Kisvei HaKodesh. So the Shari Tshuva says that a Megillah Nira Shadina Kisvei HaKodesh. A Megillah is like Kisvei HaKodesh. You're allowed to move it even Shlo Yitzorich Klal. The question is, some Achayim want to say that today, on Megillah, especially on Shabbos, on Purim, let's say, you're not allowed to move it because of Gzeira. It's not a chana. Say you're not allowed to move it because we don't lane on Megillah on Shabbos because of Gzeira. So on Shabbos Purim, you're not allowed to move the Megillah because it's a Gzeira not to use it. So that could be it's a muktzah.
Yeah,
because of Gzeira.
You don't need it.
That's why now, this year Purim was Motzei Shabbos, right? People go to Megillah to Shul before Shabbos.
Same like B'Shofar.
Yeah, on Shabbos, it's worse than a Shofar maybe. On Shabbos, it was Muktzah. We weren't allowed to touch the Megillahs. But not so simple. A lot of places hold you're allowed to move the Megillah. It's a Kisvei HaKodesh. Kisvei HaKodesh has no Muktzah.
The Shiloh was this year, could you even prepare, like, to
lane from it.
To lane, so the Balkaira, can he use
use the Megillah to lane from?
Use it to lane from?
Yeah.
So,
Chai should be able to.
I was told.
The Chai should be able to use the Megillah to prepare to lane from it. Some places want to say Megillah is Muktzah, and not just that, they say it's Muktzah Machmat Chesar and Kiss. Today, a Megillah is never used. Even people who pay from a ticket maybe, it's very rare you pay from the Megillah itself. Some places wanted to say that a Megillah is called Muktzah Machmat Chesar and Kiss.
Oh yeah, because it's like not to use it.
Not to use it. But remember, we start off in the beginning, the first year of Muktzah, we had a shayla of Muktzah Machmat Chesar and Kiss, a Klisha Mlachta Laheter, if it's shaykh to have a Muktzah Machmat Chesar and Kiss. I brought that in the Torah. I was supposed to bring it to Shoti. I forgot to bring it. But there's a machlokes of a klisha malachta leheter has a din of chesar and kiss. So to make a Megillah muktzah on Shabbos is very hard, because you have to hold that chesar and kiss applies even to malachta leheter, and you have to hold that a Megillah is muktzah machmat chesar and kiss. Therefore, the chayra Megillah on Shabbos, especially if you're using it to prepare for it, the chayra is not muktzah. I'm not paskening, but the chayra is not muktzah on Shabbos.
It's interesting, he brings down here a diuk between this year's Shabbos and a regular Shabbos.
What do you mean?
All year.
Yeah, all year it's not muktzah.
All year might be not muktzah, but
okay,
now because Shabbos of Purim, that where he calls that at night, it might be.
He says Purim falls at night, or Shabbos is Purim?
When Shabbos is in those 3 days.
He says in those 3 days?
Yeah. El b'Shabbos echal Purim liyos b'seifa.
Pashas means Purim, chutzos, it can't happen.
Right.
It's a straw.
But he's telling
So the Chayra Megillah should not be muktzah. Chayra Megillah should not be muktzah, you should have to move it. Even if we could say it's a muktzah machmat chesar and kiss, you have the other heter that we had, that there's no muktzah machmat chesar and kiss by something that's a malachta leheter. Okay, right, so Sif Kotin Chav Gimel Klal, it's a very important Sif Kotin over here. The Kisvei HaKodesh and Eichlin, there's no muktzah on the Bechlal. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Huadin, Chaisois, the Kairois, the Tzluchiois, the Sakin Shagabi HaShulchan, the Tedira B'Tashmish, they use it all the time. Leichola Alayu Torah's Muktzah Klal. When they made the Issa Muktzah, they didn't make it on that either. Eichlin and Kisvei HaKodesh Dami. V'alkein, Mutter L'taltalon Afilu Shaloi L'Torah Klal, V'yesh Machmirim Afilu V'kelim Elu. Some people are machmir even by these kelim. Now this is really machlokes in the Rishonim, Rashi and Tosfos. He brings it down a little bit in the Sharatzian. There's machlokes in the Rishonim when they made the Issa Muktzah originally. So it says Kisvei HaKodesh not, and also not Eichlin and Sakin Cotton they use. Now the question was, Tosfos says not just sack and cotton. Tosfos says all things you use for eating, all utensils were never included in the original Gzeira. If that's the case, we have a big kula. You sit at a Shabbos table, you're playing around with the utensils. No issa. There's no issa to play around with them. Why? Because even though Shlo Yitzorich Klal, it's still mutter to move it because they never went into the Gzeira. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Yesh Machmirim. And some people are machmir. Therefore, the chatchila, a person should be machbid not to move it for no reason. Yesh machmirim. You see him on Shabbos day when you see him just playing around with the silverware, you have to be moicha. Leave him alone, because then he's going to have to play with it because he's nervous. But if you see someone playing with the silverware, leave them alone. You don't have to make them a chal. Yesh machmirim. It's only machmirim, and the Mishnah says there's a tzad l'hakol on it. But every person for themselves should know that the ma'aser is the yesh machmirim, and the person can go with the yesh machmirim. They say you can't move anything you want, just the Sifrei Kodesh and Eichel.
He extends it to the Godim and Takshitim as well.
Yeah, also something that was Tadirim, thing they use constantly.
So here's a question which actually happened on Shabbos, where one part of the table was eating play shake, and we realized it was a chalavi knife. We immediately put it down. So the question is, now that you're not going to be able to use the knife because it's not, can you move it? Can you based on this?
1 second, it was.
He realized, he looked at the knife and said, "Hold on, is this from this set?" He realized it was a.
Oh, so they have to kasher it.
Yeah, you have to kasher it anyway. But the question is whether you put it down. So the question is now, you're not going to be using it.
Mukta.
Well, you do.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I'm saying. Is that actually called a mukta?
So that's a shayla. That's a question. Huh?
Once you've picked up a kli on Shabbos.
It becomes mukta. The question is, if a kli, you're not allowed to use something because of an isser. It's called malachta l'isser now.
Right.
Even if it's called malachta l'isser, you're allowed to move it to a kufim mekayimai. You want to move it, that no one should use it.
Right.
You're allowed to move it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're allowed to move it. Yeah.
Well, we did. But
There's a whole question about something that's awesome. Something you're not allowed to use in Shabbos because there's an isser on it. Tray for the spoon, right? Or yain nesach on a bang yas. Are you allowed to move it? Is that called malachta l'isser? You're not allowed to drink it because if you drink it, you have an isser. So it could be it's called malachta l'isser. But it's not muktzah machmas gufoy. So it's malachta l'isser, you're allowed to move it to a kufa to a mekayimai.
I mean, you see that machlokes by tefillin.
Oh, we'll see tefillin right now, yeah.
But it's telling that idea,
right.
How you look at that.
And tefillin can only become malachta l'isser. It's not worse than that. So therefore you can move it to a kufa mekayimai. Not mechama l'tzeil. Yeah, we get to tefillin right now. So that's the halacha of shar kelim, kaisis, v'kairos, and the utensils they use for a suda. There you have machlokes if it's called a klisha malachta leheter, or if it never got into the gezerah of muktzah b'chlal, and then you're allowed to move it even shalai l'tzarech chlal. Says the Rava, Haga, v'tfilin ein l'taltalam kiyim l'tzarech. Tefillin you're not allowed to move only for a tzarech. So obviously the Ramah is learning that tefillin is a kli shemalachta leheter. Right, the Lashon HaRamah, but tefillin ein l'taltalam ki'im l'tzorech, meaning it's not like Kisvei HaKodesh that it never went into the Gzeira. Tefillin went into the Gzeira, but it stays a kli shemalachta leheter, and you have to have a tzorech to move it. V'shofar also l'taltalam ki'im l'tzorech kufay mekayimai. Why? Because the shofar is a kli shemalachta le'isser. So that's the chok of tefillin and shofar. So Kisvei HaKodesh can move for any reason. Tefillin is kli shemalachta leheter. Shofar is called kli shemalachta le'isser. So the Magen Avraham and the Taz argued in the Mechaber, and they hold that tefillin is called kli shemalachta le'isser. Let's see. So therefore, you would not be allowed to move it mechama l'tzel. According to the Magen Avraham and the Taz, if you see a tefillin getting ruined because it's sitting in the sun, it'll be also to move it. According to the Magen Avraham and the Taz, because it stays a kli shemalachta le'isser. If you're doing it at tzorich, the muktzah itself, you wouldn't be allowed to move it. That's the Magen Avraham side. V'shofar v'chulu mashma. I'll go through a little quickly. Some rayas here. Mashma is tefillin afil shalai tzorich gufa klal shari the taltalai. Tefillin you're allowed to move it even shalai tzorich klal. El deloy hava kisvei hakodesh. It's not like kisvei hakodesh. The shari the taltalai shalai tzorich klal. Kisvei hakodesh allowed to move even without a tzorich klal. Avot tefillin shari. Loy shari should be. What do you have in the Shulchan Aruch?
Shari. You have shari.
It says shari?
Yeah.
You don't change it?
But that doesn't make sense.
It should be loy shari.
Otherwise, what's the difference?
Shari halas loy tzarech klal. No, okay. Avot tefillin shari meaning going back to shofar. L'havik kisvei hakodesh the shari the talta shloy tzarech klal. Avot tefillin shari it's mutter the tzarech gufay for itself. V'loy havik kli shemalachta l'isser
Like the shofar.
Like the shofar. Maybe you read it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure how you would read it. But whatever it is, we know what he means. That tefillin is also sholei tzarech klal, and it's mutar mechamal l'tzel. So he says, "V'loy have a klisham lachal iser the Shabbos ain't tzarech ois, aval am yitzla nicham ein iser b'davar." If you want to wear tefillin, there's no iser to put it on. K'mar shchasam ha'teisa bein kamat yamtiv. That's what the Magen Avram, how the Magen Avram is explaining the Ramah. V'teima the b'siman lamer aleph pasal kahazoyar t'hamaniach tefillin mechalamoid chayev misa cholshkem b'Shabbos.
Did you hear that today?
I have a problem with that.
So this is a whole machlokes.
Well, he's in Hungarian. What do you want?
B'hamaniach tefillin mechalamoid. There's a Zoyar that says you're not allowed to put on tefillin chalamoid. The Mechaber passes like the Zoyar. The Ramah passes you're allowed to wear tefillin chalamoid. The Ramah doesn't go with the Zoyar. It's a whole machlokes. Once again, we're sharing this. If you have a machlokes between Kabbalah and Halacha, what do? Do you go to the Kabbalah or do you go to the Halacha? And it's not for now. There's a whole long machlokes about this. But basically, the Ramah usually passes like the Halacha, not like the Kabbalah. The reason is, I'll say it very quickly.
By 6 hours, he doesn't hold like that.
He does really. He could be machmir with the Zoyar, not when it's negative halacha.
Because there it goes like that.
Happens to be some gay for now, like Weimer, right? The Shemai Choy wrote the Zoyar. So when the Zoyar was written, it was hidden for 1,000 years. It didn't come out till in the times of the Rishonim. So they paskin halacha according to the Rishonim. The Rosh says you have to wear tefillin chalamoid. Shabbos you don't, and the question is because since you're allowed to do malacha, but it's still called a Yom Tov, is that enough to say that it's an ois and you're not allowed to wear tefillin? Shabbos and Yom Tov you don't wear tefillin because it's an ois. The question is chalamoid, is it called an ois because it's Yom Tov, but since you're allowed to do malacha, maybe it's not called an ois. That's the machlokes. And the Rosh says that you have to tefillin chalamoid. That's the way the psak was. Even the Mr. Yosef says that by him they always wore tefillin chalamoid. He says now that the Zohar came out, and we see that the Zohar says it's also to wear tefillin chalamoid, chayev misa. Therefore, we don't wear tefillin chalamoid. That's what the Beis Yosef says.
In the time of the Beis Yosef, he wasn't wearing. They weren't.
They stopped wearing tefillin because of the Zohar. Yeah, but the Ramah says, even though there's a Zohar that says that you don't wear chalamoid, but since we have halacha, we pass it that way, and the Rosh says that way, we stay with the Psak Halacha, and Kabbalah cannot go Keneged Halacha. And the question is why? The Rabbi Shimei Choy lived way before the Rosh. So if you have Machlokes between Shimei Choy and the Rosh, you should pass the Tana, you should pass like the Shimei Choy. So that's a whole share in itself why the Ramah does not go with the Kabbalah. It does not pass like the Zohar. It comes up a lot of times. A lot of examples that we have. The Ramah would, if you look at Hilchas Tefillin, by putting on Tefillin, standing or sitting, the Mishnah Berurah has a whole piece over there about if the Kabbalah goes Keneged Halacha, what do you do?
You cannot.
And he says the Sfardim put on for sitting, and that comes from the Zohar.
But
The Ashkenazim put on standing, and the Ramah says if you have machlokes in the Gemara between the halacha and Kabbalah, we go with the halacha, we don't go with the Kabbalah. If we could be machmir with the Kabbalah, and it's not soiser the halacha, then we'll go with the Kabbalah. But as long as it's soiser the halacha, we go with the halacha, not with the Kabbalah. The Beis Yosef argues. Beis Yosef says anytime you have a machlokes with Zohar and halacha, we go with the Zohar, and that's the shaila of tefillin. So tefillin on chalamoid says the Zohar, you're not allowed to wear chayev misa. So here also, you're not allowed to wear tefillin on Shabbos. So the Beis Yosef says if you want to put it on, you're allowed to put it on. Therefore, it's not called a klisham lachtel iser, even though you don't have to put it on. If you want to, you could. Ask the Magen Avram, what do you mean? We hold you're not allowed to put on tefillin on Shabbos.
But what's it? Lachtel iser? What iser is that?
You're not allowed to put it on. It's also to put it on.
The Torah says you're not allowed to put it on. But
We're going with the Zohar.
okay, but the thing is, you're not allowed to put it on. It doesn't mean that it's.
So you can't use it.
No.
What are you using it for? It's klisham lachtel iser.
Right.
It's a kli that you're not allowed to use on Shabbos, but you can't use it for anything else.
If you want to use for Shabbos, then it's Isur.
So that's the machlokes here. So says the Magen Avraham, I don't understand.
There's something what he's saying. There's nothing wrong. There's no malacha.
No
You
malacha.
can't
That's what
do
I'm
it.
saying.
So there's
There's
a
no
level
malacha.
in between.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the malacha.
What?
Kli shel malachta l'isur, you're not allowed to use it. That's why it's muktzah. Kli shel malachta l'isur doesn't mean I'm doing an isur when I'm using it. So it's spoke about before. Something you're not allowed to eat on Shabbos, right? Yain nesach. Is it muktzah on Shabbos? So it's called a kli shel malachta l'isur. Because if you drink the wine, you bring over an isur. So you're not allowed to drink the wine on Shabbos, only with an isur. That's called a kli shel malachta. It doesn't have to be an isur Shabbos. You're saying kli shel malachta l'isur is only with an isur Shabbos.
No, but because I'm saying the yain itself is also, but the kli which is holding it doesn't.
No, but you're allowed to move the yain itself?
The yain?
But yeah, could you move the yain itself?
The yain is also.
Yeah, it's not Isser Shabbos. What am I doing
Right,
wrong?
I know.
I'm moving him. But if I drink it, what am I doing? I'm doing Isser of Yain Esach.
So you mean
So it's still called.
So
Malachta Isser means, doesn't dafka mean an Isser Shabbos. Malachta Isser does not mean, in order for me to use it, I have to be over an Isser Shabbos. Even if I'm over a different Isser in the Torah, it's called Klisha Malachta Isser.
So like a Shabbos garment.
Shabbos garment, speak of that. Yeah, it's Muktzah. Because you're not allowed to wear it.
The
It's Klisha Malachta
it's all
Isser.
year round. It's
Huh?
not a question of Shabbos
Right,
anymore.
it's still called Malachta Isser. A Shabbos garment is called a Klisha Malachta Isser. You only allowed to move it to a Kufa, to a Mekayma. So a Kufa is not a gay really, because you can't use it. So a Mekayma, if you need the place, you're allowed to move it. Anything that's usher to use on Shabbos is called a Klisha Malachta Isser.
Are you, if you have Demai, are you allowed to
Same thing.
Are you allowed to masakin that on Shabbos? Are you allowed to...
So if you could be masakin it, on Shabbos not allowed, but Shmosh is allowed. Come Shabbos, it becomes Muktzah. Shumas and Maestris, something that Tevel is Muktzah on Shabbos. Why is Tevel Muktzah on Shabbos? Because it's double Aser.
He makes a diuk here by tefillin. He says, "Shahoil ve'etzem anachas tefillin eno asura, elarak hamachshava shem mitzvah hi asura." So it's the same came as shimu shatzma eno asur, and he calls her shlom zaman rabbi.
Yeah, something else. He wants to say you're allowed to put out tefillin not for the mitzvah.
How about for chinuch?
Yes, if you're putting out tefillin not for the mitzvah, you're allowed to put it on.
Or you want to move it out of the sun? Then
No, that's something else.
I'm just saying, no, I'm saying if you wanted to, then you're just putting it on, but not for the mitzvah.
But you're not allowed to move it. If you're not using the tefillin, you're moving it with Chamal itself. Yeah, they're using the tefillin itself.
I see.
So once if you could use a tefillin to teach somebody how to put out tefillin,
Right.
then it's very Klisha Malachta Heter. It's not, but they don't say it that way. The Magen Avraham says it's a Klisha Malachta Isser.
Right.
Let's just finish the Magen Avraham here. V'gam ha'toises b'Shabbos have samach mashmo, the Sfira de Osla nech tefillin, you're not allowed to put on tefillin to Isser, and the Sfira lay, Klisha Malachta Isser, mutla sholchoi, it's a different shayla over there if you're allowed to send to somebody in Yom Tif, or Klisha Malachta Isser. It's machlokes. Is that called the Torah Kufa or not? Klisha Malachta Isser, you're not allowed to use on Shabbos or Yom Tif. You want to send it to somebody. So the sending it itself could be, and the guy gets it on Shabbos or Yom Tif, and it's he appreciates it. So you let us send a Klisha Malachta Isser to somebody on Shabbos and Yom Tif. That's a different shayla. Why can't you wear tefillin on Shabbos? Therefore, the Magen Avraham wants to say that it's also to put on tefillin on Shabbos, and it's called a Klisha Malachta Isser. Mashallah Gabach, V'Tan Le'etzeh B'Tefillin, V'Chal De'Babayis Shari. You're not allowed to go out with tefillin as mashma in your house. You're allowed to wear tefillin. If you hold that Shabbos lavas man tefillin, so you're not allowed to put it on. Even on Shabbos is also yeshli yashav lachakaman. Even the lavas man tefillinu lemechayev lemashmash behen. Since it's lavas man tefillin, it's no right from Tosfos that he holds also to wear it. Because Tosfos can mean you're not allowed to wear it in the house because since you're not mechayev lemashmash behen, you have to feel it to see if you're still wearing it. That's why you can't wear it. So there's no right from Tosfos that he holds it's also to wear tefillin. You may hold the reason why you're not allowed to wear tefillin in bayis is because you may go outside into the Shus Rabbim, but not because it's isser to wear it. But also a taltaloi.
But it seems like there's a good riot that you
Look,
can...
it's one. Tefillin has a hesach das in which it doesn't occur on Shabbos.
Shabbos. That's what they're saying. Since there's no din l'mashmash b'hem on Shabbos, so the hesach hadas.
Big hesach hadas.
So you may walk out carrying it. If you hold Shabbos man tefillin, so when you're wearing it, it's also to wear with hesach hadas. then we're not cautious to go outside wearing it, because you have to be mamashmash in tefillin while you're wearing it in the mitzvah. But if you hold this lavas mount tefillin, so then you're not going to be mamashmash it, so you may end up walking outside with it. So even though Tosfos holds you're not allowed to wear it bit bias, it may be for a different reason. But the Magen Avraham finishes off here.
But how would the Magen Avraham and the Taz understand the Gemara that talks about that you can move, you can. Yeah, like all these. Yeah,
Right.
like how does he understand this Gemara? I mean, it's a Mefurish Gemara, right?
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that.
Right. No,
Yeah,
but
but-
there, because, no, the way,
No,
because there,
there-
Derek Malbush.
No,
Are you
there.
going to say it's Klisha Matale Isser
Yeah, Isser.
and you need it and it's the
Maybe,
Gufay?
yeah. The Gufay. It can't be Mechamal Tzel.
Correct.
No, like,
But
Can't
the
be
case of
Mechamal
the
Tzel.
Gemara is Mechamal. Well, it's like
No.
a
Yeah,
Mechamal
yeah,
Tzel.
yeah, it's
You come to the
Shlo Yignav.
right.
Shlo Yignav.
right.
Right here. When the Taz and the Magen Avraham have to answer that Gemara that he's wearing it.
Yeah.
Outside Gufay. You're making a sarama. You're doing a Gufay.
Unless that's the Gufay.
Right here. I don't know. Check it. According to the Magen Avraham, I have to check out that Gemara. Okay, good kasha. Mokum have a klisham lachno iser, but also talpa kimmel shar Gufay mekoymai came after the place of Shabbos lach mevav. Umiyah b'shol the gebayim. Reish perik vav the Shabbos chasam shar peisim the shari b'tiltul. Ayin simen shel gimel sivit ches mas schafte sif lam gimel. So get to the Magen Avraham comes down with a machlokes. If tefillin is called a klisham lachno iser, or it's called a kli shemalachta leheter. And the Magen Avraham is mashmi paskin that it's called a kli shemalachta leisser. If you look at the Mishnah Berurah over here, he paskins.
But who actually decides whether kli is a kli shachar is? Is he who used subjectively? Because if, let's say, for example, I'm planning to show my 12-year-old son how to put on tefillin, and we're doing on Shabbos, you're basically taking something which is a kli, which is
Shemalachta
a
leisser.
kli shachar leisser to a kli shachar leheter.
Yeah, so
how does
I don't
it
know if
change
kli shemalachta
the
leheter. Could be the heter of Shlem Zaman is, but even though it's a kli shemalachta leisser, the tzarech gufay you're allowed to move it.
Yeah.
What's called the tzarech gufay? Hashem Akin had it with tefillin. That could be. I don't know if Shlem Zaman is holding that tefillin is a kli shemalachta leheter.
Cracking that with a hammer.
Right, it's heavy as cracking out with a hammer.
Yeah.
You're allowed to use it.
Right.
So if I'm showing my kid how to wear tefillin, let's say it's a kli shemalachta leisser. But I'm using the tzarech gufay. Then it's mutter. That's what could be if Shlem Zaman's heter is.
Yeah, and that's what he says. It is a kli shemalachta leisser.
He says kli shemalachta
It's a
leisser.
kli
Yeah.
shemalachta leisser, but that's how you would use it.
That's called tzarech gufay.
Yeah.
The lafmina would be. Oh, it's a lafmina would be if it's tefillin is in a place where you want to move it because it's getting ruined. If you're allowed to move it or not. If you hold like the Magen Avraham, you're not going to be allowed to move it.
If you find film like in the middle of the road, you don't have to move it?
According to if you hold kli shemalachta leisser is also to move, you won't be allowed to move it.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, the place will say.
No, but even the Mishnah Berurah says you can.
Let's see. That's what the Mishnah says. We'll see why.
Interesting.
If you look at the Mishnah Berurah, Yosef Katan Chav Dalid. Kiyam L'Tzorech Hainu Kadesh Lo Yignavu or Shlo Yiskalkalu. This is going on the Magen Avraham on the Ramah, who holds the Kli Shemalachta Leheter. Uchyetze B'zeh V'ataz Magen Avraham Achmirim V'soyven Tefillin Mikra Kli Shemalachta Le'Isser Terei Osel La'nicha B'Shabbos Uchanal B'Siman Lamed Aleph V'alkein Ein L'Taltalam Kiyam L'Tzorech L'Gufon. What does it mean? Hainu Kadesh Yishmeru Me'amazikim. So he said, "This Taka Kli Shemalachta Le'Isser." They used to carry around tefillin on them to watch as a shmir from azikim. Not a gay today. So that's why that would be a Kli Shemalachta Le'Isser tzarech gufay. Another example of tzarech gufay would be Shlomo Zalman's case. You're teaching your kid how to put on tefillin,
Oh, did we not read that? Okay.
right?
Not that it should be damaged.
Yeah.
No, Hainu Shmir
Not that it should
Hamazikim.
be- You could pick it up in the street unless it be damaged.
Yeah.
No,
We read
no.
it as.
Yeah.
No. Hamazikim here means
This is the.
yeah, you should become huzak.
So according to the Magen Avraham and Taz, you have to leave them on
According
the
to
street.
according to Taz and the Magen Avraham, you find tefillin in the street, you have to leave it there.
What do you think?
You're not allowed to move it.
I thought Kadesh Yishmeru as
Can you
mazikin that it should
No.
be that it would be.
No,
that it
Chaluzah.
would be.
No, I mean shade there.
Can you do a harama? I'm going to use it to show my kid how to.
That's a shadow. So that's what it says. Welcome at Chak. Yes, the Hakal Kadeya Rishoin. Uchumoshe Kasavnu B'Sim Na'al B'Be'alacha Ayin Sham. The Makam at Chak, the Poskim say, means if you see tefillin lying, even on the floor in your house, forget about you see tefillin lying in the street. The Poskim say, B'shas at Chak, this is called B'shas at Chak, at V'zoyin tefillin, you're allowed to pick it up and put it on the shelf.
Then you can hold like this.
And then it could be, it's Klisha Malach Heter. Then you'll call it Klisha Malach Heter with Semicha on that. So the Maisa, if that's called B'shas at Chak, so in most situations when you're moving your tefillin, then it's called B'shas at Chak. In most situations you're moving your tefillin, it shouldn't get ruined, that's called B'shas at Chak. So therefore you'll have a heter to move it.
Yeah, it's still clay kodesh, and if it's on the ground, is that still...
No, it's not considered kodesh. Tefillin is different kodesh.
No, but I'm saying is, it's like, there isn't, you see a pair of tefillin, some people walk around and see a pair of tefillin on the ground.
Yeah, but it's also to move it. According to the Magen Avraham, it's also to move it.
Right.
Even though it's a bezoyin. We who are going to say that B'shas at Chak, we can Samech on the Ramah, we can move it. But if you're going with the Magen Avraham and the Taz, it's also to move it.
Right.
Taz not allowed to move it, according to the Magen Avraham and the
If
Taz.
it's in the middle of the street and you see a car coming along,
According to the Magen Avraham, you're allowed to move it. Chisham Lach Melissa.
can you kick it with your foot? Like you can with
Yeah.
money?
Can you kick the snow to avoid the
According to the Magen Avraham, maybe you could.
That would be a lot of money.
I don't know what would be better. What would be a better answer?
Yeah.
I don't know what would be a better answer according to the Magen Avraham. But I said, if you find tefillin lying around in the street on Shabbos, you're allowed to pick it up and put it away. We'll be makel with the Ramah, without the Magen Avraham. According to the Magen Avraham, you can taka, but we'll be makel with the Magen Avraham, with the Ramah. Okay, now Shofar says also Taltaloi. Why? Because the Shofar is called a Klisha Malach Le'isim. So you're not allowed to move it to a Kufay Mekayimai. I mean, you're only allowed to move it to a Kufay Mekayimai. Kosovo the Shabbos, Sivkan you're based in the Magen Avraham. Kosovo the Shabbos, B'Shem HaEzerua. The Chatzotzra is also Taltaloi Klal. The Lav Klihu. Chatzotzra is not called a Kli at all, but nearly the Zel of Yehuda. Awal Yidon, the Kamalon, the Shimon, Shari, the Gemara Sham, the Lekala Mehmet have a Muktzah Machmat Chasar Kiss, the Baha from Shimon Moedim. You don't say it's called Muktzah Machmat Chasar Kiss. So we find in Hilchos Shoshana also that a Shofar is called a Kli Shemalachta Le'Isr. And therefore, it's only Mutter to Kufay Mekaymai. If you look at the Mishnah over here,
That would be like the same as all other musical instruments.
right. Well, Shemalachta Le'Isr.
Yeah.
Shofar is the same thing. Now, if you look at the Mishnah over here, he says in Sifkan Chafei Kiyim Terehu Meyuchad L'Tkiya to also b'Shabbos. A shofar is meyuchad for Tkiya, and it's also to use it on Shabbos because you're not allowed to blow shofar on Shabbos. Okay, maybe Klisham Lachta this. The Luliv says the Magen Avraham, the Mishnah also Taltal B'Chlal. A full tzar kufa mekayim the ein olav shem kli klal. A luliv is not called a kli, and that's muktzah machmas gufay.
Yeah.
A shofar is a kli.
Yeah.
You blow with it. A luliv is not called a kli because you shake it doesn't mean it's a kli. It doesn't make, the shaking it does not make it into a kli. So a luliv
It's
is
no kli.
It's not a kli. Luliv is not a kli, and therefore it's muktzah. You can't even move it tzar kufa mekayim on Shabbos. It's like a rock. So if it comes Shabbos and there's a lulav lying on your table, you can't move it. Maybe kalach hayad, if you want to knock it off the table and make it puzzle, then something else. But a lulav is muktzah gomer. A lulav, there's no heter to move it, not even a tzarech gufay, and not a tzarech mekayimai.
If it's in a plastic bag, which the plastic bag is a kli, like the plastic.
There's no difference. It's possible. It's possible to It's a possible. It's also to move a lulav. A lulav is not allowed to move on Shabbos, period. It's a muktzah machmas gufay.
No, correct.
Not that the place can say that today.
Esrog is different?
Esrog is also muktzah. The question is if you could smell it. Esrog is also muktzah on Shabbos, but it's a different muktzah. Esrog is a different muktzah. Muktzah machmas mitzvah. Muktzah machmas mitzvah, you have to know what type of muktzah that is.
That's like a sukkah.
It's like a sukkah, yeah. Muktzah machmas mitzvah means it's muktzah because I'm only allowed to use it for the mitzvah. But esrog is an oichel, it's a food. So the muktzah machmas mitzvah is a whole different muktzah. It's a whole different muktzah. So that's by lulav. By a shofar, the place can say that today a shofar is not a klisham lachal iser.
Because we don't drink him.
Yeah. When it says over here that a shofar is a kli shemachal iser, is because they used to use the shofar for something else also. They would use it to drink from it. They use it for other uses also. He could have used it. If someone would want to use a shofar for that, they would let them. Therefore, it's a kli shemachal iser. Today, they say a shofar becomes a muktzah machmas chasar kiss.
Exactly.
A shofar, the mitzvah today, a shofar is not used for anything else besides the blow from it.
Yeah.
If someone would use a shofar for anything else, he would yell at them. So today, a shofar is worse than the halacha here. Today, it could be a shofar that's muktzah machmas chasar kiss, and you're not allowed to move it at all, not even the tzarech kufa yom chayimon. So if you have a shofar on your Shabbos table, it's according to most poskim today, we also have to move it. You can't say it's kli shemachal iser. I can move the tzarech kufa yom chayimon.
Unless you pour some wine and start drinking.
Even then you can't, because you're not going to have to do it. Some places want to say that tefillin also today becomes a muktzah machmas chasar kiss. Because you don't use tefillin for anything else, only to wear tefillin.
For mitzvah.
For mitzvah.
How was it different back then?
That's the question. That's what I don't understand. Back then also they didn't use tefillin for anything else. That's all they used it for.
The fact that they wore it all day means that they can.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. But a shofar, you can understand, is a muktzah machmas chasar kiss.
They use it for the mazikin, that's why they...
Yeah, he's right. Sorry, he's right. He used it for the mazikin. Today we don't use it for mazikin either. Oh, maybe that's what they mean. Very good. Maybe that's what the person means.
They don't want anybody to take them and ruin it. So.
Today we don't use it for the mazikin, so it's a muktzah machmas chasar kiss. If it's a muktzah machmas chasar kiss, then you're not allowed to move for b'chlal. Even if it falls on the floor. Alright, so the place will make them. You find it on the floor, you pick it up and you put it away. Fine, Sif Hey. Yesh matir v'talto, kli shemalachta l'isir, afilu mechama l'tzeil, ayidei kikar etinuk. Some people are makel to move a kli shemalachta l'isir, mechama l'tzeil, so we say a kli shemalachta l'isir not allowed to move at all. But the head of kikar etinuk, which we'll get to in Mitzvah Hashem later on, the head of kikar tinik is basically you put something on the kli shemachta l'isser. A kikar where someone's mutter to move, or a child, and when you're moving it for the kikar tinik. That's why you're moving it. So now that kli shemachta l'isser, I'm not moving the kli shemachta l'isser. I'm moving basically the kli shemachta l'heter.
So you're doing harama.
You're doing harama, right? Correct.
So how does it work? Your hammer's on the ground. You put the child
on the hammer.
On the hammer, and then you pick up both?
Yeah, pick up the hammer.
But why can't you just pick up the child?
We have the hammer coming with it.
It's not what you want to move.
I understand, but that's what I'm just stuck with. How do you...
Yeah, that's called a rama. That's a rama.
So it's not that the hammer ends up on the child and you're picking up the child.
No. We're talking about you put a cookie on the hammer.
Right.
You pick up the hammer to move the cookie to put it away.
That I understand.
Yeah.
That I understand.
Yeah, but the tinning on the hammer is pretty hard.
That I understand. Then now you're using the hammer as a utensil for the
move
cookie.
The cookie.
That I understand.
Yeah, a tinning is hard.
I don't understand. How do you put
a hammer not?
Unless and it has to be on a clee, like a
big clee.
Like a big clee.
Yeah, a larger clee.
Right, but not on a hammer.
Not a larger clee. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay. So that's
a larger clee.
So you're using the clee then as the buses to
move the child.
Oh,
yeah, that's the case.
I thought that this heter was underneath.
Yeah,
not
that's what it says. Yes,
and you want to move it, you want your child to stand on it, and then you lift them all together.
Pen outside and you put your kid on top of the
that would
pen.
work. That would work. You
Pick up the kid and you got hold.
So it's only a yesh matirim. It's only a yesh matirim. The ma'aser we don't pass it that way. We do not move a kli shemalachta l'isser. We do not move a kli shemalachta l'isser for the kikar tinuk, only the tzarech meis. By meis or mekel. But for a regular muktzah, we're not mekel. We look at the Magen Avraham here, kikar. Water and nosam davar acher hamutal taltal. Put something else that's mutal taltal. Also, lav dafka kikar tinuk. Even a cookie is something else that's mutal taltal.
I mean, ein la davar sof. I mean, basically, then you'll be able to move anything.
Correct. Only kli shemachta l'isser.
Yeah, I'm saying.
And put it over head on it to be able to move it. And not muktzah machmas gufay.
No.
That's not sure what I'm saying now.
I'm talking about just any cliche mlachal isor. You can basically find a way to do it.
Oh, look at that gossip kiveg over here. Sif hey, Klisha Malachal Isser. See it?
Yeah,
What did Klisha Mukta Machmas Chasar Kiss? Nere the Mutter after aim by Hetel Atzmai, the Tzara Kufa Mekaimai. You could move it either kicker or tenor. That's what he says. According to these Yesh Matirim, we don't pass like them, so it's not a gay really. A second.
How come the Ramah doesn't say anything about this? You don't pass them like that?
Yesh Matirim. Because it's Lashon of Yesh Matirim.
Oh,
She says Muktzah Machmas Chasar Kiss. I'm not sure if a Muktzah Machmas Gufa will be the same thing. It's not again Allah Lamaisa, but we just learned now. We'll see Vav. We're already moving on to other things, specific things of the Muktzah or not. We just learned now Muktzah Machmas Chasar Kiss, Klisha Machal Isser, Klisha Machal Heter. There's something called Muktzah Machmas Gufay, which is the worst Muktzah. You don't move anything. Here the Rabbi Kiva says the heter kicker tinnik would be also for chasar and kiss. Why do we hold a muktzah machmas gufa? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hold on, what's a muktzah mebichad gufa? I mean, it's basically
a rock.
A rock.
No usage at all. Chasar and kiss has a usage,
right.
But machmas not to use it for anything else.
Right.
But muktzah machmas gufa is worse. Halula is muktzah machmas gufa. So if you look at the Mishnah here, the Meister will hold of it. Let's see the Mishnah over here.
Yeah, too much voice.
Sif Khan Chavzai Philip Shabbos. Ratzlaim Alayim Rinon. Kivi the Me'esmal Kli Zu Lav Lahai Malach Koi Hamlei Noilan. Oh, sorry, got the wrong one. Chavav. I the Kikar Tinik. Lav Daf Kikar Hu Adin. Im Nosan Shah Chavis Amut B'Toichai V'Hinei. Deyezu Hidas Rosh. This Shita is the Shita Rosh. Aval Haber Merishayim Cholkam Lazer. V'Svida Lehem. Loyatidu Kikar V'Tinik Ela L'Meis Bilvad. The Tatal Al Yadayim. For the Kamam and Simon Shin Aleph Sim Aleph. Aval Loy B'Shad Davar HaMuktzah. Av Shehu Kli. Even if it's a Kli. So see Mefurish, there's a Chiddush here. If it's not a Kli at all, yeah, if it's a Kli, Chishul Machal Isser, Muktzah Machal Chasar and Kiss, but if it's not a Kli B'chalal, there's no half minute to use it. V'chein Achriu, Harbe, Achroinim, that you cannot move a Muktzah Yidei Kikar Tinik. V'chol Zeh, Dafka Miniach B'teich HaKli Shar Davar, She'enim Yuchad La. אבל המונח שם דבר המיוחד לא, כמו שום במדוחה, ששייכה כנבוי, שמונח בגדר קצת מהתבשל, לכול האלבה מוטל תלתל הכלי, אגב המייכל. A very important Mr. Brew over here.
This is why the kicker actuals agav.
Agav, yeah. It's very important to understand this halacha here. The head of a kicker at Tinuk, it's not something again now, it's again later on. The head of kicker at Tinuk is not pshat, that the kli becomes bottled to the kikar, or the kli becomes bottled to the tin.
It's like agav.
Yeah, it's not what it is. When you have food in a pot and it belongs there, the reason why you're allowed to move the pot is kli shamach listen.
But there is
why
food.
if it's food, it's not why you're allowed to move it. It's not the head of kikar tin because of here. That is because now the pot becomes bottled to the food. The food is the ikar, and the pot is being mishamish the food. The same thing if we have
Meducha.
Haducha, something that crushes, that grinds spices. The garlic, let's say. So you have garlic lying in it now. You let it move it. Why? Because the thing becomes bottled to the garlic. It's a new heter that it's not. You're not moving the kli, you're moving the garlic, and the kli is bottled to the garlic. But by kicker or tinnik, the reason why you're allowed to move something that has a kicker or tinnik in it is not because it becomes bottled to the kicker or tinnik. It's not the reason why. A mace doesn't become bottled to the kicker or tinnik. So why are you allowed to move it? We'll see later on, because I look at it as I'm moving the davar heter. I'm not moving the muktzah. Since I'm moving it for the davar heter, we spoke about this. When we start with a basas laheter v'la iser, the Pri Megadim. Right, the Pri Megadim says you can't move a kli for any reason. So we said then that there's something called the muktzah that I'm not moving the davar muktzah. Even though I'm moving it, it's not called tiltal davar muktzah. I'm moving the kikar. I'm moving the tinnik. I am not moving the mace. That's the heter over there. That's why we don't use the heter all over. It's a much more of a chiddush to heter to say that when I have a kikar or a tinnik on something, I'm not moving the muktzah. I'm moving the kikar or tinnik, and it's not called tiltal davar muktzah. That's a chiddush. Masha Ein tafshel in a pot, or shum in a maducha. There, the reason why it's mutter to move it is not pshat that I don't look at it as if I'm being metaltal the kedera. You are being metaltal the kedera. Even if you're being metaltal the kedera, it's a mutter. Why? Because the kedera is a bottle to the food. That's why it's mutter to move it. Two different heterim. That's what the Mishnah Berurah is trying to speak out of here. Don't mix up kicker actinic to the heter of tafshel and the kedera. I wanted to see Vav today also. So it looks like we're going to have to do it today. But for Siv Vav, I'd like to go through a Taz. Taz is Sif Cotton Hay. It's a long Taz, but it's a very important Taz. So next week, when we do Siv Vav, I'm going to go through Taz inside, Sif Hay, most of it at least. It's a very important Taz. Okay. It's taking much longer than I thought, Muktzah.